Pop goes the popcorn and the popcorn maker, folks. Pop, pop. We've got pop-up showers. We've got pop-up thunderstorms. We've even had a severe thunderstorm watch pop up. And within that, a couple of warnings as well. And I'll show you those in just a second. But you can see here on the radar, remember those troughs that I showed you this morning out here? One's in the northwest, one's in the southwest, and one's moving through the Mississippi Valley. Well, those are popping off showers and thunderstorms here in the lee of the Rockies, even over some portions of the Rocky Mountains, but spilling out into the northern plains. You're seeing showers pop up in this instability that exists out here as the cold air aloft comes in. It's kicking off showers and storms. We've got a severe risk from Texas all the way up into the Great Lakes region. This low pressure system that we've been looking at over the last couple of days is moving up here into the lakes. We've got rain around that and a cold frontal zone extending back like this, and you're seeing storms pop up along that boundary, as storms love to do. And so this afternoon is going to be a stormy day, and it's just kicking off here, and I had a couple of minutes, so I wanted to show you that, but you can see how all of this is moving. These storms are moving really, really fast up here in northern Ohio toward Cleveland, moving at 50 and 60 miles per hour. And so this is where we've seen severe thunderstorm warnings come out for damaging winds. There's even some hail, it looks like to me, by looking at the radar imagery. And as a matter of fact, if we can go on in here and take a look at our hazards map, you can see right here, this is where our severe thunderstorm watch is, from Kentucky all the way up into central and eastern Ohio, including Columbus and Cleveland, and just spilling in here to the northwestern portion of Pennsylvania. I expect to see watches expanded. I expect to see more warnings as we work through the afternoon. We even got a flood advisories here in Oklahoma where it's been raining. River flood warnings certainly are out there. Looking at kind of drilling in here a little bit, looking at the local radar, look here, you can see this show up really well. I've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that have popped up. These are heading toward Cleveland right now, and just some wind and some hail with these storms, so nothing too destructive, but definitely take cover if you're out and about and keep your eye to the sky. You can see the activity developing here. There's no rotation with any of these. I looked at that earlier, but where you see these red, certainly heavy rain, and the whites, and you get to these little pink areas showing up, that would be representing hail. So watch out for some small hail this afternoon here as these storms continue to develop and organize they will through the course of the afternoon. This is our big severe thunderstorm focus area from essentially western New York all the way down through Tennessee, down toward Alabama, Louisiana, and into Oklahoma and down into Texas. We've got some activity coming out of Mexico that's going to affect this area down in Texas, right in here. A boundary is set up along this area here, frontal zone, and then some outflow from earlier storms. This is where we're going to see that focus this afternoon. We've got good instability. I'll show you that in a second, but good instability will focus, allow these storms along these boundaries to really start to explode, particularly out in the Texas and Oklahoma area. This is where our instability, forget about this upper part of the circle, that's just bad drawing, but right in here is where our instability is going to be maximized. Not so much instability up here, but this is closer to the better shear, so that's going to organize those storms, provide that upper level lift, and instability will be enough to get organized showers and thunderstorms, and some of those thunderstorms will reach severe limits. And if we look at the probabilities, so tornado probability is low, but again, where the shear exists, that's where we would find the greatest potential for tornadoes, but fortunately it's not all that great. Wind is looking to be a more prevalent threat, from Pittsburgh to Columbus to Cleveland, down here into Paducah, into Nashville, all the way into Jackson, Mississippi, Shreveport, Louisiana, back into Oklahoma City, near the Dallas-Fort Worth area, down here into southwestern Texas. This is the area of focus today for wind. Where the greatest instability is where we'll see potential for supercell development, pockets of very large hail, 2 to 3 inches in diameter, not out of the question down here, as well as some stronger wind gusts too. So this is where the wind gust is, back here in the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, and then the hail threat predominantly is down here in southern Oklahoma and then east central Texas. So watch out, particularly in these areas, could see some destructive winds and some hail here. And remember the troughs that I showed you. I kind of drew those earlier, but here they are right here. This is a better representation of that. I'm showing you the GFS. Earlier today, I showed you the European, but here's the trough. Look at this. Boom, coming right in here just like this. This one's moving in from the north This one out here, this is like a little closed low, so I'm just going to draw a line through that. But that's moving in as well toward Texas. And then this other trough here, see these little kink in the lines? That's how you can tell. This is moving through the Mississippi Valley now. It's flattening out as it does so, so it's losing a little bit of its punch, in other words. But that'll continue to progress and will provide the lift and the mechanism for shower and thunderstorm development through the day today. Look at this now. As we get on into tomorrow, this the secondary trough is coming in from the north, starting to sharpen up a little bit. The GFS didn't have this anywhere on its radar the other day. It had the trough, but it just blasted it on through, as the GFS wants to do. And the European, the Canadian, some other guidance slowed this down and cut this off. And now the GFS has come to the party and is ready to join everybody else at the table. We'll have a good time watching this thing cut off over the weekend and trying to figure out exactly where showers and thunderstorms are going to develop. But we've got ridging developing in the west, another little trough out in the southwest. As we get into the weekend, this is Friday night. Saturday morning, look at this thing. This thing is going to cut off and just park it out here over the Midwest, and it's just going to meander around a little bit. And look what it's doing. We've got another cutoff coming into the southwest again as we get into Monday. Monday, this thing is still with us. Tuesday, and finally, by Wednesday, it's starting to eventually move off into the northeast. But underneath this thing, there's going to be clouds, there's going to be showers, there's going to be rain, there's going to be thunderstorms. And so we're looking at an unsettled weather pattern up and down the eastern seaboard. I'm sorry to say it's not going to rain every minute, but you're certainly going to see plenty of clouds, plenty of opportunities for occasional showers and storms. A lot of times with these upper lows too, they're cold core, so you may get some showers to develop underneath those. We don't need vigorous convection to get hail out of these because the freezing levels are low. So you may actually see some hail underneath these things if we get warming temperatures through the afternoon, and we will. Big ridging over Canada is going to keep the U.S., the northern central U.S. warm as we go on in through the weekend and into early next week. And that blocking is just persisting. It's slowing the flow down. We've got another cutoff coming in here. Look at this thing. Back into the Midwest again. Another cutoff coming into the south west, and eventually the pattern starts to pick up some steam and we get all of this mess out of here and start to develop a big broad ridge across the country. At least that's what the GFS is showing. There's some conflicting evidence in the longer range, so we'll deal with the longer range when the longer range needs to be dealt with. But right now we're looking at the thunderstorm threat this weekend. We go on out into time and we get into Saturday. Area of showers and thunderstorms overnight Friday night as we start to work into Saturday morning. And look at this thing. This cold core up here is going to develop a surface low. There's just going to be lots of moisture coming out of the Gulf of cold rain associated with this thing. It's going to just meander around and just bring southwesterly flow up here. And we're just going to see moisture return very, very good off the Atlantic, off the Gulf. And so along essentially east of the Appalachians and over into the Midwest. These are the areas this weekend, folks, where we're going to see unsettled weather, essentially from the Midwest down into the southeast, Florida, all the way up into Maine. So watch out in those areas, and also back here in the Intermountain West into the Rockies. So this is our unsettled area for the weekend. And so unfortunately, if you've got outdoor plans, just pay attention to what's going on. Keep an eye to the sky, and you'll need to be able to react. You need to react quickly if the weather changes, but it's going to be changing quite a lot here as we go through the next couple of days. Tomorrow, we've got another severe threat. This extends from Texas all the way up into around Nashville, central Kentucky, again for limited tornado threat, but predominantly wind and hail with greater instability in Texas. That's where you'll find more vigorous updrafts and some supercell activity, and you'll get to see a potential for larger hail down here. So that's what's going on. Looking at the probability for precipitation over the course of the weekend, this is 24-hour probability of seeing 1/10 of an inch or greater. So you can see those areas that I outlined pretty much correlate to this. This is where we expect some rain through the weekend. And again, out here, from the Rocky Mountains and just, I guess, back in here into northern Idaho, down into Nevada, and then spreading into the Rockies. And so look for unsettled conditions in those areas too. Elsewhere, it's going to be warming up here in the northern plains. Sun will be the theme of Sunday as we get into the latter half of the weekend. So there you have it, folks. This afternoon, look for CAPE values really skyrocketing down here in Texas, and a little more meager up here and modest up into the Ohio Valley, but still enough to work with. So watch out this afternoon. Keep your eye to the sky, have your alerts turned on. I expect we'll see more in the way of severe thunderstorm watches and warnings as we get through the day, so have multiple ways to receive alerts. That's all I got, folks. Hope you have a great day. I'll be back in the morning with another video.